Entrepreneurs, women of wealth, the next gen, millennials, rising gen, they are all expecting a more personalised, tailored service for themselves, a jigsaw puzzle, all the different pieces, how can they come together to complete the picture?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FT studio for our latest episode of the PWM Tea Break, where we are talking about an issue which is close to the hearts of many of our readers and viewers, the future for family offices in 2026. I'm delighted to be joined once more by Juliet Valdinger, a family office advisor with particular expertise in philanthropy. Welcome back, Juliet.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
And what kind of tea are you drinking today?
English breakfast every time.
Interesting, because many of us over the Christmas and New Year period would have been enjoying cups of tea with our broader family, or maybe something a bit stronger perhaps. And we had a very nice piece by Paul DeBetta from Citizens Private Bank in the US. And he's saying, look, this wealth management, it's not purely financial anymore. There's a lot of complex issues, family structures, particularly when you've got blended families, remarriages, divorces, the complexities that gives. How crucial is this festive period, do you think, Juliet, for these families and some of these tricky discussions?
Wealth is not about your financial assets. Wealth is, if you look back in history, it's about your well-being. It makes me think a lot about, I don't know if you know of Jay Hughes and Peter Caroff, who are two American legends, and
Absolutely.
Peter set up the Philanthropy Initiative, and Peter Caroff sort of died recently and has written a book, which is A Generous Life, which is available hard copy, and Jay Hughes you can download for free. But it is very much about your well-being as a family. You come together, you get everybody a reason to get round the table. You value each other as people. So the festive seasons, big birthdays, Christmases, Easter, any reason to get people around a table will always be valuable for a family.
And I'm glad you've brought in that philanthropic topic, Juliet, because we had a nice piece also by Max Tholis-Reeves from the Sorbus Multi-Family Office. And he's saying that when it comes to investments, the family offices are very conscious about choosing the right managers, but they're not as diligent sometimes when it comes to philanthropy and which third parties they're dealing with. Is that something that you're familiar with, that difference between the two disciplines?
The charities and the donors both struggle with the due diligence. The charities, particularly if they're small or if it's an urgent need, they don't have the resources or capacity to go through the due diligence questions that the donors want to ask. And from the donors' point of view, they don't necessarily know what questions they should be asking. So there's a real problem. It's a fragmented system, but they're both facing the same problem, which is why external advisors are really helpful to both parties, so they can understand what the other party needs and what they need themselves.
And when we look at what entrepreneurs actually need from their wealth advisors, Chris Spratling from the Chalk Hill Blue Business Growth Consultancy, he's citing the latest PwC research, which shows us that 70% of wealthy families and entrepreneurs, they're not terribly happy with their primary wealth advisor, and they feel they're being underserved. And he says, look, there's this growing gap between how entrepreneurs make their wealth and how they're being advised. Does that sound familiar to you?
Very familiar, and I would almost extend it, whether you talk about entrepreneurs, women of wealth, the next gen, millennials, rising gen, they are all expecting a more personalised, tailored service for themselves, a jigsaw puzzle, all the different pieces, how can they come together to complete the picture? Or like a conductor for an orchestra, you kind of need somebody just to bring everyone together. And that's really what the expectations are now. And I think if the wealth management industry really start to understand that, they're recognising there is this change in need, but they don't know what to do about it.
And one of our regular interviewees, Nicole Curti, has also been talking about this subject in a video interview that we had. Nicole runs the Capital Y boutique in Geneva. She spent many years at Lombard Odier as well. And her take is that when a wealthy family has dealt with a family office, a multifamily office, or a boutique wealth manager, they're not really inclined to go back to a major bank or private bank. Is this what families also tell you?
As a comparison, it's a bit like going from Microsoft to using a Mac. Using something or advisors who are more in tune with your needs, more personalised services. I won't talk ChatGPT, that's, it'll hallucinate and tell you fibs, but that's the whole point. It's people want more personalised services, and family offices, that's what they're tailored to do. So banks as a bigger financial institution are less attractive.
I remember when I actually switched to the Mac and I thought, wow, this is available and it's so easy compared to what I used to do. But talking about the banks, Julius Baer, they've had some research about this, and Jamie Banks, I think, who's their head of the wealth advisory there, he's saying that a lot of the wealth planning for families is too short term, that we shouldn't be thinking 20, 30, 50 years. We should be thinking 100 years. Are we being too ambitious, thinking a century ahead?
For me, it's 100 years ahead, but it's not necessarily transferring the values, but it's the purpose of the family and how can we come together and be at strength, because financial resources shouldn't really be part of it. It's how can you keep all families who last with grandchildren and great-grandchildren. It's forward thinking to what can advisors do to strengthen the family unit. They'll keep them as clients and the children as clients, but it's how can you bring the purpose of the family as a tool rather than the financial assets.
Well, I hope it's not too long, Juliet, before we see you again here in the studio. And I know that you're having a lot of conversations with these clans of many generations, and I hope that you'll come back again to share those experiences with us. So many thanks, Juliet, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Next week, we'll be looking at some of those hard investment decisions which families are taking on the front line, and how these are influenced by the fast developing geopolitical balance between global superpowers. So please keep reading PWM Net, and I look forward to seeing you for our next PWM Tea Break.